senior NFL writer for the AP, master at predicting games. You can check out his Pro Picks column every week on apnews.com. Rob Maaddi, you are 135-71 for the season. Let's go. I want to get right into it. I want to start with the NFC West. First place Seahawks taking on the Cardinals and Trey McBride in Arizona. Cards 2.5-point faves. What do you think?
Hey, I just want to be as good as Megatron. He was phenomenal.
So
Cardinals they've lost 6 in a row to Seattle. This is meeting for the second time in 3 weeks. Kyler Murray's played well against the Seahawks at home. I think he's got a 102.9 passer rating the last 4 games against the Seahawks at home in Arizona. The NFC West is up for grabs, and I think the Cardinals find a way to win this game 24-20, win the game, cover the spread, tighten that race up a little bit to the point where even the Niners, for as banged up as they are, can still stay in it. I think the NFC West is going to come down to the final weekend of the season. I like the Cardinals this week to beat Seattle.
Do you have a score?
24-20.
24-20. I like it. Seahawks are
so they cover. I got 2.5, right? You got 2.5?
2.5,
they cover.
yeah. They've won 6 consecutive against the Cardinals, those Seahawks. We'll see how they go. Okay, we've got another. Oh, I love a division rivalry. We kicked it off in Week 14 so well last night. Browns at Steelers. Pittsburgh favored by 6.5. Browns pulled off the upset a couple weeks ago. Can they do it again?
Okay, I don't know if it's going to snow in Pittsburgh, but I would love to see Jameis Winston play in the snow week in and week out. It's like the most enjoyable experience for a viewer is to see Jameis enjoying the snow. Snow aside, in this game, do you know the last time that the Browns swept the Steelers in a season series? I don't think you were alive.
Okay, when was it?
It was like 36 years ago,
no,
1980. Now, see, you weren't even around, and for that, they're not going to sweep them. They've won 1 time in Pittsburgh in the last 20 seasons, and that was a playoff game with Baker Mayfield. The Steelers are 5-1 with Russell Wilson. Everybody thought that the decision to go with Russ over Justin Fields, the people are criticizing Mike Tomlin. I loved it at the time. I love it even more now. I'm going to take the Steelers to win the game 26-17.
The Jameis magic runs out. It is 46 and sunny in Pittsburgh. And the Steelers have won 20 straight regular season games, like you're saying, against those Browns. Okay, Kirk Cousins, he's back. I love this. He's back in Minnesota. What does it mean? Minnesota's favored by 5.5. What do you think?
I got to pick an upset every week, and I was looking up and down the schedule, and this is the one, K. Kirk, everybody's beating up on him. 4 picks last week, 13 picks this season. He's going home to Minnesota, or what was home for him for several years. I think he finds a way. The Falcons have struggled. They've lost several games in a row right now. They're tied with the Buccaneers, but they control their own destiny. Meanwhile, the Vikings, they've won 5 in a row, but they're close. They're hanging on the edge. Closer games than the first 5-game winning streak that they had in this season. I like Atlanta behind Kirk Cousins, rally around him, going home 23-22. That is my upset pick of the week.
Who's scoring? They are not scoring points. They're averaging like 12 points a game. Well, who's scoring for them? Who's he giving the ball to?
Well, for the sake of my fantasy team, Darnell Mooney would be nice. But Bijan Robinson last week had 26 carries. It was a career high. Minnesota, though, is #1 against the run. It's going to be a little tough. Maybe he sneaks in for a 2-yard, 1-yard run somewhere around there. Maybe they get a defensive turnover, step up that way. I think Kirk finds a way. He puts the chains on in the locker room afterwards. He's singing as he's walking off the field, whatever it may be. We got to rally around Kirk Cousins.
I like this upset pick. I think there is something. He's been all nice all week. Also, Kirk, like, oh, I'm so grateful. Then Justin Jefferson said they haven't talked. There's this part of Kirk that's going to sort of unleash, I think, and playing in front of that crowd with that chant in that building. I like this upset special. The Falcons have scored just 12 points a game since Week 10. That offense has got to come hopefully through Bijan. We have a huge one in LA. MVP frontrunner. He cannot be stopped. Josh Allen. The Bills taking on the Rams. Very curious. You just heard Calvin Johnson talk about Rams. Who cares about the Rams? The Bills. 3.5-point faves on the road where there will be Bills fans aplenty. Do they make it 8 straight wins?
Josh Allen's on a mission. The Bills are on a mission. This sets up for a letdown. However, with next week against the Lions, I don't see it happening. I think Buffalo goes on the road, cross-country trip after last week's blowout, and they find a way. They'll beat the LA Rams 27-20. They'll cover the spread. This one is my best bet. Okay, when Josh Allen doesn't turn the ball over, The Bills are 30-5. In December and January, last 22 regular season games, they're 20-2. They're on a mission to get that #1 seed in the AFC. They're not going to let Matthew Stafford and the Rams slip them up. I'm with Megatron. I'm not paying much attention to the Rams right now because I'm all on the Buffalo Bills.
We'll see if those two FSU characters, Fisk and Verse, can get it done. We quickly have to get through this next one, and it is the game of the week. So spit it out. Chargers, Chiefs at Arrowhead. Chiefs 3.5-point faves.
Chargers are on the edge. They're on the verge of beating the Chiefs. The Chiefs have been very fortunate last week.
Yeah.
They should have lost to the Raiders last week. They could have lost several other games along the way. They're banged up, but I don't think this is the week, Kay. I think the Chiefs win, but the Chargers cover 23-22.
If Ladd McConkey was not limited again on Thursday, I would agree with you. He is that offense, so I wouldn't put it past them to get it done and rise to the occasion. With Derwin James and Travis, Noah Gray is probably going to have a big game. Those are just my thoughts. You have 1 minute to talk about Offensive Player of the Year. Let's take a look at the odds. I want to start here. It looks like a two-man race. Can it get interesting?
It certainly can, Kay. And this could be that year where things flip. We've seen quarterbacks dominate in the MVP. 11 straight years quarterbacks have won. Whereas Offensive Player of the Year, it's been running back or wide receiver 5 years in a row. But look at the season Joe Burrow's having. 30 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He's not in the MVP conversation because the Bengals are a losing team. And we know that the MVP goes usually to a team that gets a bye over the last 11 years. I think for a season as incredible and impressive as Joe Burrow is having, if he finishes, 40-7, 40-6, somewhere around there, he could be in that mix if Saquon or Derrick Henry don't break the rushing record.
Okay, we love to see it. You can follow Rob's predictions on, obviously, I love a Burrow, so we even had, Sherman yesterday saying he's an MVP. He has MVP numbers, and he does, and a Batmobile, apparently. Pro Picks is where you can see Rob Maaddi's column every week on apnews.com. Thank you for joining me, and let's enjoy the ride here down the stretch.
Kay, you're the best. Thank you.
You're the best. See you at Super Bowl?
Yes, absolutely. See you there for sure.